Hello and welcome to episode 5 of Can I Write an Album?
What are you doing? Get off! I don't want to hurt you! Stop! I don't tell you to shoot!
One, two, three. So good.
Today I wanted to just talk about the drum part for Decreedance. Back to that after the brief discussion about Vacate. It may be that we've missed out on, unfortunately, this month's submission to Rick Beato, but I'm still hoping we'll get it in. If not, definitely it will go in next month. But so back to work on Decreedance. Pretty pleased with progress, actually. So last night I managed to lay down a drum part which covers the whole song as it is at the moment, so with the length it is at the moment. I have had a few thoughts on what I'd like to do with it, to what parts I feel I should write and add in, which I'll maybe go through in this video. I'll also go over a little bit of the drum beat itself, so you can hear what that sounds like, and then obviously start talking about what my next steps will be. So I've got to a point where I am now happy with the drum pattern as a basis. Actually, I don't think there's anything that I'll need to change about this overall in terms of its fundamentals. I don't think I'll need to play it again or try and record it again. I think that much of it is done. It may require some minor adjustments, and it certainly requires some fills and some more dynamics. But at the moment, I've got it to the point where I'm happy with it. So, the idea was here, I'll show you kind of what I'm trying to do. I watched a video recently on miking drums. Again, Rick Beato, who was talking about a gentleman called Glyn Johns, who was an engineer in the 60s and 70s and mic'd many of the most famous drum sounds. I'll put a link to the video, so if you want full beans you can go there to get it. But so essentially he created a 3 mic method, 3 or 4 mic I think he said in the video, but I'm trying to get as close to that essentially as I can with what I'm doing here. So I thought I'd just go over it quickly, play a bit of this. To you and show you what I'm doing. So I've got bass drum, snare drum, full kit. I'll show you what the full kit sounds like. So this is in the second verse. So I've got that, and I've got then a snare track. Oh no, bass drum, sorry. And then a snare. So that's in there, and the idea is that then obviously I can add effects to each in turn. Now I know there's of course no way of simulating live drums here. I can't get the bleed in each of the tracks to play with. Like, I've got none of those elements that would naturally be picked up in a miking situation. I'm just working purely with samples now. But still, I've got no other choice in this situation. So essentially, this is the best I can do, or in my opinion, this is the best I can do. I'm sure there are other ways of doing it. Don't claim knowledge on that, but so I got the full kit. The idea of that is that it is the overheads, and then I've got a snare drum mic and a. Again, there's no toms in here at the moment in the beat itself, apart from one section, and they're on the. Did I leave them on the bass track or the? I've left them on the snare drum track. So, again, fills need to be added to this, and a more engaging cymbal sounds. With the cymbals, I'm essentially moving all of them into, as you can see here, I've done it I played them separately on a separate track, so I'm just moving the MIDI up into the full kit. So essentially that last track there will disappear, and I'll just end up with these 3 drum tracks. So, hopefully that's going to make kind of some sense. Also, what I'm trying to do at the moment is re-record the bass along with the drum, so to try and pull it a bit more into the pocket with the drums. I'm happy with I haven't had to quantize, or I haven't bothered trying to quantize any of the drums. I played it on a keyboard to a click. I'm happy with it. So it may waver a little bit, but I'm not concerned. It's in time, certainly. I just hope, actually, if it wavers, it's more about feel rather than anything else. And then, so I need to re-record the bass. I'm not doing anything with the guitar. I need to re-record the vocals. So the other thing I wanted to talk about was potentially where I'm going to write in some more dynamic, which will, I think, add to the song. So it's in service of the song itself, but also will increase the length of it and make it, I think, a more complete sort of piece, if that doesn't sound too pretentious. Anyway, and so there's a moment in the original version that I recorded between the first and the second verse where everything just goes to kind of a screech for like 4 bars. So kind of thinking, I don't think that necessarily, I might try and do something along those lines, but I quite like it in that original version. So it's just putting that bit back in essentially and finding a way of doing that. But I thought I'd take that idea maybe a little bit further at the end of the second verse and right before it goes into the bridge and have some kind of, well, I'm not sure what, actually. Just some kind of interlude. And I have this sense that maybe it's something where it kind of pulls the song down, sort of a descending sort of feel to it before it goes into the very sort of somber kind of funeral-y feel of that middle bit. Anyway, so that's where I'm thinking at the moment, and I suppose if you combine both of those things, you're probably only adding like 4 to 8 bars or maybe 12 bars or something like that, but I don't think it needs much more than that. But I do also think, actually, my other thought was that the bridge, I think now where I've got the vocal coming in kind of halfway through, which it's still very much a guide vocal, so I'm not going to put that in here now. But the way I've got the vocal working without at the moment, it kind of sounds like that could have extended out again, so we'll run 3 times, essentially. The same sequence will run 3 times in there. So I'm quite excited about where I am. I really like the drum beat. I'm quite excited about the fact that I've got a few steps to go. I don't know if I'm going to try and push this to completion, like the track as a whole, or whether I'm going to take a bit more of a nuanced view of it and maybe have a look at another song in between. But episode 5.